To those who protect the perpetrators, blaming the victims only masks the evil within, making you as guilty as those who abuse. Stand up for the innocent or go down with the rest. Hi, I'm Haley Lapierre, and I'm here to talk to you about Ohio Issue 1 and how this issue affects victims of crime. Ohio Issue 1 is about victim rights in Ohio. This is to provide victims with constitutional rights such as being notified about and present at proceedings, to be heard at proceedings involving release, pleas, sentencing, disposition, or parole of the accused, to promote conclusion of the case, to reasonable protection from the accused, to being notified about the release or escape of the accused, to refuse an interview or disposition of the right of the accused, and to receive restitution. The issue is created to make sure these rights are given to a victim. At times, these rights still aren't given to a victim, and the victim is seen as another person to blame. I believe all victims should be protected under this right. Over the last few weeks, I've done research on all sides of this issue. The victims, how it affects them, the process of what the victim goes through. I've also researched the reasons why some people will decide to vote against this issue protecting the rights of victims. In many rape or sexual abuse cases in Ohio, the victim is not protected. They are seen as part of the problem. Something they did caused the abuse, not the other way around. The people of the public that agree with this is the audience. And it's not just rape or sexual abuse cases. There are many different types of cases in Ohio where victims do not have rights. Most victims will not report a crime that has happened in fear that nothing will be done about it, and they will end up being blamed. Victims often feel re-victimized. This happens in every state. Usually it happens in the courts during the case. When it comes to victims' rights, there's a difference between state and federal law. Most victims do not report the crime. Victims often fear victim blaming, which makes them feel worse, almost like it was their fault. In some cases, the person that has done the crime never gets caught or is never charged. If the case does go to court, the victim has to bring up the crime all over again, go through it, and deal with being victimized in the courts. Victims of a crime seem to fear what people will think when they report a crime. There are states where that have victim protection laws, but the laws aren't followed. There is also a difference between federal and state laws. Federal has a different law than what the state does, and it's also two different court systems. Victims often feel re-victimized when victim protection laws aren't followed. Ohio Issue 1 is to protect victim rights of Ohio victims. To do this, you need to think about the reasons why victims need to be protected. Victims need to be notified about present proceedings and when a prompt conclusion of the case is provided. Victims need to be heard at proceedings involving release, pleas, sentencing, disposition, and parole of the accused. And victims often need reasonable protection from the accused. Why would you want to take a victim's constitutional rights? Hasn't a victim been through enough without having no rights when they go against their accused? Victims need to be protected when they face the accused. Victims need to have protection from the accused. This even involves protection orders. If a crime happened to you that needed to be reported, could you imagine not reporting this crime in fear of not having protection within the law system? Cities outside metropolitan areas have the highest poverty crime rate known to law enforcement in 2012, at the rate of 3,534.8 per 100,000 persons. Metropolitan areas have a property crime rate of 2,949.8 per 100,000 persons, and non-metropolitan counties had a property crime rate of 1,539.3 per 100,000. This is happening everywhere, so don't think it can't happen to you. When the times are a crucible, when the air is full of crisis, those who are the most themselves are the victims. Thank you everybody for joining in. Remember to vote yes on Ohio Issue 1.